The impression I got from this episode is that this was a nice nod to Knight Rider G1's Season 1 episode, Inside Out, where Michael and Kit catch a corrupt general in the act of stealing gold. General Kincaid, for more trivia. Which is basically the same primary plotline for this episode, with Mike infiltrating Walt Cooperton's private army regiment as Jack Miller, a Marine gone AWOL. Cooperton comes across as a rather bland and generic antagonist with little to no capability of emoting. Kristen Bush as Cassandra Banks I found to be rather convincing as an MI6 agent in the dark posing as Cooperton's girlfriend. A convincing southern accent she was able to put on in place of her natural British accent. That took me by surprise. I found that the writing abandoned Mike's cover story too soon, as it would have been good to see if he could have uncovered more without the assistance of Kit, as I liked how Mike was discovering more suspicious signs of Cooperton, who was supposed to be an uber-patriotic American, and yet has Armani suits and French wine in his office. The first signs of Mike being that loyal to the Kit Stang is seen here, where Kit is unable to continue after crashing through mid-transformation from pickup to Kit Stang mode, by stating that he was not going to abandon him whilst Cooperton's men were pursuing them. Was glad to see a father-like son situation finally coming to pass, as this is what the first Michael Knight would have done if Kit was immobilized and unable to continue running. As far as episodes go of good quality Knight Rider stories, this is extremely well written, with the actors turning in good performances with a somewhat simple story that they managed not to overpad, which is the feeling that I had with the first few episodes, where it focused more on style than substance, which in its own right is too much of a disappointing trend in entertainment, whether it be movies or TV, and sadly it hasn't gotten any better since this show. It was good to see a reference to whenever Michael would climb out of Kit to jump to another vehicle. The only difference is that Kit Prime had a T-top sunroof that could pull back, whereas Mike had to climb out of the window with no sunroof, as the Kit Stang in regular mode has no such facility, for lack of a better word. One thing that I had an issue with since Knight in Shining Armor is one of Kit's transformations, of that being a pickup truck. Where in the SG pilot he is only able to change into cars of similar shape and mass, which is a lot more plausible, it just makes SG jump the wrecks when you see a Mustang shapeshift into a vehicle that is much larger, heavier and longer than its own shape and mass. Also, why did Kit have to have missile launchers on the side of his doors? For an artificial intelligence whose primary directive is the preservation of human life, don't you think that contradicts his basic protocols by having such lethal weapons at his disposal in attack mode? Which there in its own right is another contradiction. Attack mode is used for speed more than actual offensive weapons, but even as the season progresses, you see more scenes of Kit firing weapons. But that said, if you think I'm nitpicking here, wait till we get to Night of the Zodiac. You'll see. The ending of this episode has a nice feel-good moment, with Mike living up to his promise of taking Sarah out to celebrate her birthday and bringing back the red bottle of wine that was mentioned in Cooperton's tent that she loves. The payoff that I found with this episode is that it honoured the original series episode that it was derived from, intentional or not. It was a good episode where it showed the progression of Kit's character, and it was good to see that he had flaws even when he was operational after some repairs. His functions were responsively slow. Until next time, good night from the Knight.